is the last of the
With more boats on the racetrack and the courses getting tighter and tighter, the strategist position has never been more important. So for this 201, I thought I'd talk to one of the best to see how she gets it right. Well, I'm here with Tash Bryant from the Bonds Flying Roos. Tash, the strategist role has evolved so much. We've seen just how critical it is. For you, I guess, in your years as a strategist, how has your position and your involvement in the team evolved?
Yeah, I think it's definitely changed since I first joined, when we had a lot less boats on the racetrack. At the start, it was definitely more like reading the racetrack, looking at the breeze, like remembering which marks were favoured last time or who gained where on the racetrack, and kind of feeding that information and doing a little bit of tactics and talking about the boats a bit, but it wasn't as much of a problem as it is now. So yeah, over the last 2 seasons, it's changed quite drastically with the increase of boats, and now most of my job is making sure that we stay out of trouble around the racetrack and painting a really good picture of what's happening with regards to the rest of the fleet to Tom, so he doesn't actually have to have his head on a swivel as much, and he can kind of focus on the boat performance and what he wants to do around the track, and I just feed information as we go around and yeah, talk about what problems could be arising soon and trying to mitigate them as much as I can.
Tash Bryant, oh yeah, I think she's one of the most underrated strategists in the league.
Now you talk about problems arising, which means that you're trying to predict intersections that are going to come up and paint that picture before it even happens. So what sort of things are you looking out for? What are your telltales? What information are you kind of processing before you feed that out?
Yeah, so it depends on where we are on the racetrack. In the start box, it's quite hard to predict where people are going. You obviously know where the start line is, but the way you get there depends on how much time you have to kill, like where you are in the box. So that is quite an unpredictable area, and you're just trying to do your best at just feeding information in real time. But then once you get through the start line, you kind of know exactly where everyone's going. The marks are laid out, you have the boundary on your screen, you can see where they are in the boundaries. And so yeah, it's a lot easier once you're actually around that first mark to guess where everyone else is going to be in 10, 15, 20 seconds time. And yeah, so I just keep an eye on that. When we're approaching marks, I watch out to see if people are splitting the other direction, and I kind of know at all times who are the close boats around us, so that I know who I'm looking for when the time comes.
So you're trying to identify, like, there may be a potential problem, there is a problem, we're going to have to avoid. Like, are you feeding that information? Are you making any decisions, or are you just kind of letting Tom know and then letting him make the decision?
Yeah, so when we are the right-of-way boat, I quite often feed information about where people are on the racetrack. If someone's going to be close to us and ducking us, they will become a problem when we tack. And so, yeah, I'll just feed information and try to give Tom an idea of where everyone else is.
USA still on port tack, they haven't tacked yet. And even further up, the Brits only have Swiss coming down.
But when we are the giveaway boat, that's when it starts to come a little bit more high risk, and I'll be talking about, oh, we'll need a giveaway and we'll need to get out of the way of XYZ, whatever boat it is. And I'll give a time frame quite often. I'll say like 15 seconds.
20 to boundary. Really good breeze line inside in 5.
Most of the time, if it's like a bow on bow, like an intersection, he actually can't see the boat then. So in the most critical point in time, he can't see it. So that's when I have to say, like, we need to high cross or we need to duck. But yeah, most of the time he can see it, and I'll just be guiding him towards problems and yeah, trying to keep him clear if I can.
And the reason he can't see what's happening is because there's usually a big wing where we're sitting, which is a massive blind spot. So, I mean, very occasionally we now see you sort of run across and like poke your head out, but then you also have an indication of where the boats are on like your software.
Yeah, so on the wing screen we have our software, and that gives us a prediction for where we're going to be, and then also where other boats are going to be. So you can see if they're a little bit slower based on what their predicted line, like trajectory line is, out the front of their boat on the screen, and that is actually really quite helpful because yeah, you can get a much more accurate time guess off that. Like if you're pointing halfway, you're close to 15 to 17 seconds away, and yeah, I use that quite a bit to judge the time, but then ultimately, like if we're crossing or not, I'll have to use my sight and trust what I'm seeing.
And do you ever tap into the coach's booth as a strategist? Do you ever call in for an extra favour?
Sometimes when we're just on the exit of a manoeuvre and I'm still driving and I know there's a few boats coming up, I'll say I don't have eyes yet, and until Tom grabs the wheel, then I can get up and have a look. If it's too close, quite often the coach's booth will speak up and say like, yeah, you're going to have a problem or all clear, and just like that'll help settle me. But Most of the time we do it off the boat because it's quite a lot easier to just see what's coming. You can see if they're going to be going into a big gust or a big lull, and you can kind of take that input in too. So yeah, we try to keep it on the boat as much as we can, but the coach's booth definitely is our backup.
That boundary might be close.
Tash Bryant on the comms. She's on the right hull. She's got great visibility, but it's so close.
The other thing that's really important is obviously you're planning ahead with what's happening with all the boats, but we also hear a lot with boundary racing, like we could get one in here or two in for a right turn. So that's really on the course geometry. How much input do you have into kind of feeding that those options, I guess, to Tom?
Yeah, it really depends on how many people we have on board. Kinley and I spread the load of the kind of the course screen and the tactical software between us, and he focuses a lot on the course geometry, like how many attacks we're going to have in this next beat, whilst I try to keep my head more out and looking at other boats, the ley lines and what's happening around us. So as soon as he has to get off the boat, that's when I have to kind of step up a little bit more into his role, but most of the time that's his area, and he's been owning that for a few seasons.
Nice. The other thing you kind of mentioned beforehand is that you're obviously steering out of manoeuvres. So I guess talk us through a manoeuvre and how important it is, especially I guess in marginal conditions when you've got that wheel on an exit, to make sure that you're hitting the angle, working with your wing trimmer to make sure that you stay up, foiling and flying.
To take you through a manoeuvre before we're going in, Tom will say standby, but from being behind him for so long, I can kind of see a trigger of when he wants to go for attack.
Close engage on them.
Yeah, rolling down here in 2. Easy 7. On down. Easy 7 on loose.
And kind of predicting a little bit, so quite often I'll cross like just before I think we're going to go for attack. He'll say standby, Goobs will come across with me, and the two of us are on the new side. When we turn through the breeze or stern to the breeze of the jibes, I'll be looking out, seeing what we're turning into. So I'll have a bit of an idea of if we're going into a gust or lull, like if I think we're going to be in a different phase or something on the exit. And yeah, just trying my best to handle that. And Goobs gives me quite a bit of guidance on how much load he has in the wing sheet, when he lifts the board up, like what's happening immediately with the boat. And yeah, we work together on the exit to try get the most performance out of the boat.
It's so hard, obviously, to prepare for every event, because everywhere we go is different. The wind is always different every day. Your competitors are always going to react differently as well. How much do you rely, I guess, on past data? Like, how do you prepare for a race weekend as a strategist?
Obviously, we look a lot at what the forecast is going to be, and we can have our best guess of what the racetrack is going to look like because we know the area we're in and see what the conditions are previously when we were here. And yeah, that's to be honest it. We can rewatch the racing, which I do a lot, watch how other boats do things, because I find it quite interesting to see if someone's doing, describing things differently in a better way, or how other teams talk about it. There's a lot of people relying on the coach's booth a lot more now, so it's interesting to see how we spread the load. And yeah, just a lot of watching over racing, to be honest.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tash, for giving us a bit more of an insight into what a strategist does. You're doing a good job out there, and I guess it's getting harder and harder.
Yeah, as we increase the amount of boats, my life gets a little more stressful, but it should be good.
And the champions here in Auckland, once again, it's the Bonds Flying Roos 2 years in a row.
Nice work, Tashy. Nice work, that was awesome.
Make sure you subscribe to SailGP's YouTube channel for the most exciting race on water.